Welcome to the Business Spotlight series. My name is Kay Cote, and I'm your podcast host on today's episode. And today we have Jordan Gros, founder and CEO of Mycocentrics, as my guest. We're going to be learning about her business, her journey to business ownership, some best practices that she's learned along the way, and maybe some challenges that she's faced to give you that inside look to what it's like to own and operate a business. If this is your first time on our channel, be sure to like and subscribe to get notifications when we drop episodes like this. Welcome, Jordan. Thanks so much for being on the show today. It's great to meet you.
Thank you so much, Kay. It's great to be here. I appreciate the opportunity.
Yes, wonderful. Well, I'm excited to learn about your business, but I'd love to kick it off with learning a bit about you. So, could you tell me a little bit about yourself?
Absolutely. So my name is Jordan. I'm originally from Thibodaux, Louisiana, and I went to school here in Baton Rouge. I went to LSU and graduated in biological engineering. So I'm a biological engineer by trade, or by my degree, but right whenever I graduated LSU, I moved to Massachusetts and I was introduced to the world of mycology. So my first introduction to like mushrooms and everything was actually learning. I hope it's okay. I kind of brought like a few little things for show and tell as
Of
well.
course. I'm a huge fan of mushroom research too, so I'm ready to geek out on this.
Oh, I love it. Good. So my first introduction was actually learning to cultivate these rare mushrooms called Cordyceps militaris. At the time, the farm I was working on was like the biggest cordyceps farm on the western half of the globe. So it was quite the introduction. And at the time, hardly anyone was cultivating this mushroom. But I learned to cultivate it. And that was also my first introduction to like tinctures, extracts, not only making them, but also ingesting them. And I just felt such a tangible improvement in my life just from having them in my life and especially putting them into my body. I knew that I always wanted to take it back to my home state of Louisiana, though, and just spread just all of the benefits from these different mushrooms to the community that I'm most familiar with and most in touch with. So that's where I'm at now. I've launched my business, Mycocentrics, and I'm here in Louisiana just running that. And currently it's not my full-time situation, but I'm, because I'm bootstrapping and just taking it slow. Um, but I'm working on making it like my full-time situation and just that's just where I'm at now.
Well, thank you for sharing about that. I've heard more and more about the benefits of, the cordyceps and lion's mane and all of these adaptogenic mushrooms. I'm a huge geek, so it's going to be a lot of fun. But thank you for sharing that introduction to your journey. And I'm curious to your why behind what you chose to go into business. Like, was there like an aha moment for you, or kind of what's the backstory?
That's a good question. I think there's a couple of different things. Like, first of all, when I was introduced to these mushrooms, Massachusetts is like a very progressive state, and Louisiana is like a little bit slow to the party a lot of the time. But I knew that these mushrooms were going to be like making a really big impact in the United States. That was like 6 years ago. So I kind of saw it as an opportunity, like being introduced to mushrooms. I knew it was going to be an incredible opportunity for me. I always knew I wanted to do something involving holistic health and maybe combine my experience with engineering and kind of bridge the gaps between holistic health and more like Western medicine and everything. But also like um, just a little bit, more insight into my journey. Like I was in an accident about 5 years ago and had so many injuries to my body, had like some injuries, some spinal injuries and like a head injury and stuff like that. And cordyceps and lion's mane and these different mushrooms were just like a very important part in my recovery, in my continued recovery, and how I'm managing like all of those symptoms and um, just with feeling how tangibly they were able to improve my life, like during that time throughout my recovery, I just really wanted other people to have access to it and to experience it. And here in Louisiana, like it's still so new. There's very, very few mushroom businesses and stuff like that. So it's really exciting because I have the opportunity to really like make an impact in the industry here in Louisiana. So, but yeah, that's a little bit about, how I got started and how I realized this would be a great business. It really fills a need, in my local community. So,
Definitely. It sounds like you're creating some incredible impact. And thank you for sharing your backstory and that I can hear the passion that you have for what you do. Looking at kind of where you want to see the business grow, are you currently doing everything yourself, or do you have a team that's behind you helping with this, helping grow this?
yes, currently it is me doing all the things, making the extracts, the sales, even from just bottling these products, selling these products, the labels, marketing, branding, everything has been me thus far. And I do hope to bring some people on the team, hopefully sooner than later, because it is definitely getting to the point where it's a lot to juggle all for one person.
Mhm.
And I recognize the importance in having a team in order to be able to expand and do more things and get these products to more people. So currently it is just me. It's been an incredible learning experience though, just having that one-on-one time with the customers, like going out and doing markets. I have some wholesale customers and really understanding what resonates with the people here in Louisiana. Like doing it all myself to start really helps me build a framework for whenever I do hire this team, how I can train them properly and everything. So it's been cool, like having my hands in all these different things. I've never made labels or anything like before now, but that was a fun learning experience. And but as I mentioned, like having a team because I want to be able to cultivate all of the mushrooms that I use in my extracts. Um, and there's just some different avenues I want to go in. And as far as like expanding my business, that's definitely going to require a team to be able to do that.
Definitely. Well, I love that you're building, creating that building for the future. I think that's a golden nugget of this conversation is just like setting yourself up for success and putting those building blocks into place. You touched on a thing I'd love to dive into a little more, kind of like how you're putting yourself out there. You mentioned you have some shows you go to and things. So, how are you primarily marketing your products and your brand? And are there any things that you want to maybe try for marketing in the future?
Hmm. Yes. So far, especially in the very beginning, I'm about like 2 years into this. It was like purely markets.
Mhm.
And it was, I think, necessary for me to do it that way so that I could really get in touch with people, talk with them one-on-one, and understand what makes people tick and what the needs of the community are. Um, yeah, and just learn the verbiage I want to use and like that, like the brand essence and everything really came from me being able to connect with the people around me like that. Um, but I also have an online store that's been gaining some traction. And then recently I have also started wholesaling my products. So I'm in a few stores locally here in Baton Rouge, looking to expand that every day, essentially. Um, and just do more collaborations as well, not only to sell the products as is, but they're very versatile. So you can put them in coffee, you can put them in fruit drinks, or there's just a lot of opportunity for collaboration. So that's how I'd really like to see Mycocentrics expand is more collaboration and getting into more stores and continuing to do the markets because it really is important for like that brand essence and having that presence in the community but being very selective probably moving forward, just with what markets I'm choosing. Because at first, I was just wanting to do them all, really just to get out there. Um, but I'm also wanting to move into some new space because I have experience cultivating all these different gourmet mushrooms, all these medicinal mushrooms. So getting into some space where I'm able to do that, that's how I'm also really, really looking to expand and offer more of a variety of products. But yeah, as far as just your last question about what I'd like to see myself get into, as far as marketing, I think collaboration is the name of the game. Like, I really want to do collaborative things with other local businesses that inspire me.
Definitely. I'm a huge collaborations fan too, so that'll be wonderful to see, as you're taking off and going into collaborations and growing your company that way. Looking at the business for, say, the next 3 to 5 years, I know that can be a ways out to think, but where would you like to see your business going in 3 to 5 years?
I would like to have a wider range of product offerings. I would also like something really special that I've been getting into is I also really like to forage. And lately I have been like in the past few years, I'll go out and I'll forage mushrooms. For example, like this reishi mushroom.
Mm-hmm.
You can take like a sterile piece of this mushroom, do it under a sterile environment, like under this flow hood right here,
Mm-hmm.
and put it on a petri dish. I'm not sure how well you'll be able to see that, but that's kind of like a little piece of the mushroom. It's the
Mm-hmm.
mycelium. From here, you can cultivate almost an infinite amount of mushrooms. So ideally, Mycocentrics would use local Louisiana mushroom genetics in all of my products, like go out, clone them, cultivate them, put them into my products. I think that would be really cool. And I want to expand my product offerings because this tincture form is going to be the most bioavailable, convenient, effective way of getting them into your body. But
Mm-hmm.
they're 30% ethanol. And some people, especially down here in Louisiana, like everyone wants the flavor. They want it to taste good. And sometimes these can be a little bit, I don't want to say off-putting, but they can have a little bit of a bite that some people like aren't a fan of. So I want to have more products that are more palatable.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, in the next 3 to 5 years, I would love to just continue to learn, like I've been mentioning, like the needs of the community and continuing to be dynamic in how I expand to continue to like meet those needs and to have a team, give people opportunities, more education, things like that.
That sounds wonderful. I'm all on board. That sounds really cool what you're doing. And now I kind of would like to look kind of backwards at the previous 2 years. And I love to highlight a challenge that, business owners have faced and overcame. So what is something maybe you were faced with in business that you overcame, and how did you do it?
It's like I feel like in the first year or two, everything, at least for me, like making the products was the easy part. Growing the mushrooms is the easy part, but the actual learning curve that comes with learning business has just been a challenge like overall.
Mm,
I think it's just like what's been hard is like sometimes some weeks it just like really sucks. Like you're just not making a lot of sales. Like it's just not connecting with the people that you're trying to connect with and just the potential of like the financial loss that comes from it, whether it's just like a lull, it can be from so many different things that a lull may happen. But I think it's just like having the perseverance having the perseverance to like continue going even whenever things feel terrible and you're second guessing yourself and you're questioning every decision you've ever made and why you're doing it and everything, but to still get up and continue to do it. Um, that's been the biggest challenge, but also just like the biggest opportunity for growth. Like sometimes if you don't believe in your product more than anybody else in the entire world, like it's going to be really hard to be successful because some people are sometimes you're just not going to get like that support and that hype and that excitement. Um, but you got to bring it every single day, no matter what's happening around your external environment. So staying motivated and just keeping on the course no matter what comes in your way. That's been the biggest challenge.
Definitely. Well, thank you for sharing about that. It's so true. And I know so many business owners can resonate with that. Looking at something that you'd like to do within your community. I would love to hear if there like something that you're excited about. Maybe it's a collaboration that you want to bring on, or an event you want to be a part of? Is there anything in your local area that you're excited about right now?
Oh my gosh, Baton Rouge, like in the past few years, I feel like it's just become really like community driven. There's so many cool events going on, and I just feel like it's gotten like cooler in the past like couple of years. So there's so many businesses that inspire me right now. But I think really what I would like to bring to the community is more education. That can look like going on foraging excursions and helping people learn about what's local to them because many of these mushrooms that I'm using in my tinctures like turkey tail or like the reishi or even lion's mane grow here in Baton Rouge.
Hmm.
So helping people to feel connected to the environment around them and that there's like medicinal mushrooms probably literally in their backyard. Um,
Hmm.
that's something I really want to offer to the community. And I really want to get into like some more hands-on classes. For example, cultivating mushrooms. They're not that hard to cultivate, especially like lion's mane and oysters. The ability to grow our own food, and especially like such a nutrient dense food like mushrooms are, that's something I'd really like to offer to the community. Um, I think that's really it. I've kind of been telling the people around me the same thing, that this year is like about collaboration and education. So that's where I feel like my strong suit is as well as being able to like offer this education because I have experience doing the extracts and foraging and cultivating and all of these different parts of mycology and to be able to share that with the community and see what they do with it after that. That sounds like a fun thing to get into.
That totally does. Like, I would love to go mushroom foraging.
You're right.
Like, it's on my list. I grew up on a farm in North Dakota, and I remember just like going around, and there's something really magical about being in nature and just like being tuned into nature because you're looking at nature, you're exploring for findings, and that I think that connectedness is so big right now and always has been, and any way to get back to that is really cool.
That's the medicine in and of itself, more often than not, is just connecting back with nature and like all the medicine that is, like I mentioned, like right in our backyards or in the trail, like down the road. Like there's a lot that exists around us,
Mhm.
that can be medicinal and actually just part of the medicine, like I said, is just like being out amongst the trees and everything. So I love
For
that.
sure. This has been such a fun conversation. I absolutely love hearing about your journey, and now I'd like to get into a part of the Q&A, which is I call it our rapid fire questions, where it's a lot of fun. I'll ask you four questions, and feel free to answer very top of mind. And yeah, so you ready for some rapid fire?
I think so. Let's do it.
All right. Question number one is, what is a key to success for you?
Ooh, the word that came to mind was homeostasis.
Hmm.
Whatever that can mean for you. That can mean like making sure you're working out, making sure your mental health is on point, making sure you drank your cordyceps tea today, like, but maintaining homeostasis and supporting your body and doing that, um, it makes you able to continue to like show up again and again. And you got to be able to do that to be successful.
I think that's my favorite answer I've heard of so
Oh,
far.
nice.
I love that. Number two is, what is a piece of advice you have for other business owners?
Oh, I feel like what I'm about to say, everyone probably says, but I was gonna say, just don't give up. Stay persistent.
Very true.
Yeah, I'm sure a lot of folks would say that.
And we always need to hear it. That's the
You're so right. You're so right.
number three is, it could be either a book you've read, a podcast you've listened to. What's something that you've taken in recently?
Oh, my friend. I will be honest, like I like to read, but I don't read too often, but I did just read a book and I would love to shout him out now. His name is Chris Sparks. Trying to think where I have the book. Could be under here. But it's called Thank Me for My Service, A Veteran's Cry for Help. And it's just about like his journey as a veteran and as a man and like things that he's faced and dealt with. And I'm probably not going to describe it as well as you could by looking it up and just reading the description. But after reading the book, I really, really felt more connected to like the collective and to humans in general and like the struggle of being human and trying to navigate life. And he made me feel a lot less alone and certain things that I was experiencing. So it was a great book, and I definitely would recommend it.
Awesome. Well, thank you for sharing that. The final question in our rapid fire is if you could wave a magic wand and overnight improve one aspect of your business, what would it be?
It would be uh my I would like to expand my space like times 10.
Like your physical space?
Yeah, the physical space that I'm operating in, I'd like to expand it and just have a giant mushroom cultivation operation.
I love that.
Yeah.
I would love to help make that happen. That'd be
Oh, thank you.
Oh, well, wonderful. Again, this has been such a fun conversation. Before we get to our final question today, how can people connect with you online?
So my business is going to be mycocentrics. I mean, excuse me, my business. That's so funny. My website is going to be mycocentrics.com. And then my Instagram is myco underscore centrics, like my business name, just with the underscore. And then I'm also on Facebook and LinkedIn by just searching mycocentrics. And I'm pretty active. Um, not like a everyday poster, but like a every other day type posting.
Awesome. Well, happy to stay connected. And Jordan, for our final question today, what is most inspiring to you today?
Ooh, today specifically?
Um, you can think of if it's something specific from today or something that's just like in your daily life.
I get the most inspiration, especially from the women in my life, I would say. They bring me inspiration every single day. And I think about like even the mothers in my life, like I don't have children, but just all they're doing every single day to just like for their families and for their children and for their community. Like women, we carry so much.
Mhm.
So, and I'm surrounded by like a lot of women entrepreneurs too, and I draw a lot of inspiration from them. So that's what's on my mind today. That's what's inspiring me.
Powerful words. Jordan, this has been a joy to talk to you and get to know you. Thank you so much for being on the show today.
Thank you, Kate. I really appreciate it.